American Top Team in Coconut Creek in South Florida. Josh Silveira! Yes! This is oh man, this is it. From Cardinal Gibbons High School, and now doing your thing and at American Top Team and part of the PFL. PFL MMA, we got the regular season for 2023 coming up. First round in Las Vegas, Saturday, April 1st, Friday, April 7th, Friday, April 14th. And when you have Josh on the show, you got to get him on the first show. And that's like Saturday, April Fool's. No fooling. There's no fooling on April Fool's Day. It's not a joke on April Fool's Day.
It's the only joke we have on that day.
Josh, last season, what a season for you, your PFL, your MMA debut, professionally, I guess.
Yeah.
So talk about what you were able to do in PFL because you made it to the semifinals.
Yeah.
Because they have regular season playoffs and championships. So what was last year like for you?
So last year was a little bit of it was a little crazy, you know. My first time entering the big level league show from LFA to PFL. First round I actually got hurt. My AC joint came out, so I missed the first round. So I was already points behind. Then my first fight was in Atlanta, the PFL they had in Atlanta, and that's when I got a big head kick, the big 6 points, which put me in
contention?
A reserve spot. And then Shoeface ended up getting hurt, so I took his spot and ended up being in the semis going against Omari, my teammate. Just a lot of crazy circus, you know, acts going on, you know, just kind of a big rush. But it was a good lesson learned, you know. Obviously, I got to the semis and it didn't go my way, but as cliche as this sounds, you know, that loss is probably the, you know, best thing that's happened to me. So it was good, man. The PFL is exciting. It's the only season format, so it's you know, a big rush for like the next 4, 5, 6 months, depending on how many fights you could try to rally up.
What was it like too going against your teammate and being involved in a situation, especially with the stakes so high?
Yeah, you know, I think we go in there thinking that it's all business, you know, and we should, but there's always a little bit of emotions in it and a little bit of I know you, you know me, and unfortunately with Omari it was a lot of that, you know, and I think with the injury and a long season, you know, by this time, you know, I'm already 4 months into the season, 3 to 4 months, you know, I think my body was a little banged up, but I learned from this, you know, I learned from it. I took time to decline and then time to build back up. So it was good, man. I'm happy for him. I tell people it's almost like your best friend dating your sister, you know? It's like you don't want to lose to, like, you don't want some random douchebag to date your sister, but if you had to pick somebody, man, maybe your best friend would be the best suit for her. So I guess if I had to take my first loss, I'd rather lose to a teammate rather than someone else, you know? So it was an interesting situation, but we got through it and we're here, man. Next week, I'm about to throw down again and about to show the world what I should have done.
And that will be at the theater at Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas. You could see it on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Saturday, April 1st. Big event, big show. Josh, what did you learn about yourself from your victory last year and then also from the tough loss with Omari?
So the victories are obviously they're always gonna feel nice. You know what I mean? They're victories. They feel good. Obviously, this is my first time. Was my first time entering an organization where I could actually build something for myself, a future. You know, where they pay a little better and that sort of case. You know, so that was very exciting on that part. Just dealing with higher up people, right? People that are been involved in the business world and things of that nature. You know, that was a good plus that I got my foot in that door. As for the loss, you know, I just try to build myself as a fighter where I don't want to feel scared mentally to get tired. You know, and that's why I ran into last year, that I felt like I was going to get tired, so I was scared to do my best ability, you know. And I know I'm the best fighter that I could be when I compete, not to get tired, when that's not in the back of my mind, when I'm going forward, winning, pushing the pace. That's how I fight. That's my style. And that was a big takeaway from last year's loss to this year's transition, was to just stay hungry and don't be scared to get tired. Let's swim to the deep end together and let's see who could not drown, you know?
It's such an interesting dynamic. And do you go back and watch your fights?
I do. I try not to do it too much, but I try to watch it handful of times to level out my emotions with reality. You know, obviously the first couple times I watch it, it's a little emotional, as in a sense of I should have done this, I should have done that, this should have been like that. Even to the judging sometimes, you know, you try to be in kind of a denial of certain things, especially when it's a close decision fight like that. And then eventually, you know, you got to get over it. So life continues. At the end of the day, it's a loss. It doesn't make you who you are. People lose in life all the time. You know what I mean? There's people who, you know, can't leave the light bills on. You know, they're not going to cry about it all day. They're going to go buy a candle and light a candle in their house, so they're not sitting in the dark. So it's one of those situations where usually I find myself not being too high in the highs, right? I'm always winning. Try to stay humble, try to bring myself down. In this particular situation, I was trying to pull myself up from being in the lows, you know, try to find that middle ground, and you know, we found that middle ground, and it's part of an MMA career. If you think that losing isn't part of that, then it's very tough. You know, I wish we all could be Khabibs out here, but it just doesn't work like that all the time.
Yeah, that doesn't work like that. You're right about that.
You know?
What do you think about the 2023 season and the competitors in the 2023 season?
Yeah, man, the 2023 is exciting. You got some new faces, guys from the UFC. Some of them are my teammates too. But I see a season full of potential for anybody. It's all for the taking. I know, you know, I'm 30 years old. I'm feeling young. I'm a young stallion horse ready to try to grab this million. So whatever I got to do, man, I got to do. Whether I got to fight a teammate or fight the ex-champion or whatever the case is, you know, it's a new season, new mentality, and let's get after it.
Regular season, playoffs, championship. The champion wins a huge title belt, but even bigger, $1 million. It's such a cool format to have that. Josh, what are your thoughts of just being an MMA fighter, training here at American Top Team, the coaches, the sparring partners? Who have you been working with too?
So I've been working with a handful of guys. I'll name some of the guys off right now. Dalton Rasta, he helped me out in the beginning a lot. You know,
that guy's super strong.
You can't take photos next to him because he makes you look bad.
That's exactly.
I ask him not to flex sometimes for me, just for the sake of, so people know I'm fighting, not you. You know, Lucas Cortez has always helped me out. He's an upcoming fighter in the local scene. I think he's like 3-0, 4-0, tough kid. You know, obviously I've had Mocco wrestling, always assisting. We have Anderson, the Muay Thai coach. Ivan Oliveira, he's the brother of Gabriel Oliveira, the two Oliveira brothers, with the boxing. Of course, Pop's always in my corner, helping me out. And then you got guys like Glyco, guys like Johnny Evelyn, you know, I'm seeing these guys on a daily basis during practice.
He's a machine, Johnny.
He's on another level. Yeah, it's very inspiring sometimes, you know, to see a guy like that. And that's another thing when you walk into a place like American Top Team, the false sense of confidence, it's something that exists in this MMA world, where you have a bunch of people that are gonna tell you that you look good for this fight, you're gonna do well, but they don't go in there and really understand the fight game. Where an American Top Team, training with a guy like Johnny Edlin or Dalton, you're not gonna get that false sense of confidence. If you get beat up that day, you're gonna feel that you got beat up, and you got to work on something. You have to know that you can't go to your fight like that, you know. So it's a lot of just dealing with the reality here that you're not gonna have, you know, maybe not getting submitted, but you didn't submit anybody on that day. It's maybe a good day here. Maybe that's a good day. It's like going to Vegas and breaking even, you know. Hey, at least you didn't lose any, you know what I mean? Where this is American Top Team, it's like that, you know. If you get a couple submissions that day, man, you did pretty good for yourself. But everyone here wants to win. Everybody here is trying to fight for big money. Everybody here has a family, and you got like 30 plus guys here on a daily basis, and they're always rotating out, cycling through. So false sense of confidence out the window. You know, you don't have any of that here. You'll have real, true confidence here. just because you're going to look across the octagon or the smart cage and you're going to think to yourself, there's no freaking way in hell that you understood what I've been through for this camp and who I dealt with, you know? So ATT brings a lot of that.
It's so interesting because when you mention Mocco wrestling and the dungeon here,
Yeah.
I think about the Mocco brothers.
Yeah.
And you were a high school state champion wrestler for
Yes.
Cardinal Gibbons High School. And young Michael, a freshman, just won a state title.
Yeah.
And his younger brother, 7th grader, almost made it to state.
Yeah.
And you have a younger brother that also competed and did well
well.
for Cardinal Gibbons.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what your thoughts of the Mocco boys and their wrestling.
I know the Mocco boys since they were pretty young too. So it's really cool, especially seeing Mike really kill it out there, you know. And he's at Cardinal Gibbons too, which is kind of funny. But yeah, man, I wrestled with him a handful of times throughout this year, and he's tough as nails, strong kid, only good things to come. And Peter, too, the younger brother, tough as nails, a little bit more sillier kid, on the silly side, but, you know, with time comes, you know, you want to win, especially when you see your older brother doing it. But, yeah, it's good memories, you know, from Jaco and I back in the day, winning counties together, and me graduating eventually, but following his career, and he won district and regionals and made it to state. Obviously didn't get as far as he wanted to, but it's cool, man, watching your younger siblings compete, you know.
That is so cool. And you mentioned Dalton. And I'm curious because Dalton loves pro wrestling. So I'm thinking, Josh, could this be something later on that you might try to get in there and all? You're a big guy. You got a good look at that. You got the mountain look with the big beard. You got the hair going.
Who knows? Man? Maybe I cut a little slit here and I rip my shirt. Something like some Hulkamania stuff. I mean, yeah, we'll see, you know.
Silveira Mania.
Silveira Mania, yeah. You know, I'm into I do enjoy the wrestling, the pro wrestling and stuff. I do like it, but yeah, we'll see. You know, maybe later on down the line, you know, we'll get something going. I wouldn't look past it.
Because so many MMA fighters have done the pro wrestling too. The Brock Lesnar's around the Rouseys, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah, Valerie was over here not that long ago.
Valerie's now training and doing shows.
Little swinging kicks and entertaining
body slams, all that, entertaining the crowd with WWE NXT, and she's at the WWE Performance Center Orlando. So yeah, she's doing her thing up there too.
Especially in the MMA community, in the mixed martial arts, whether it's pro wrestling, fighting, jiu-jitsu, one thing you learn growing up in this is don't ever feel envious about no one. You know, always support somebody, and you don't have to understand why they're doing something, why they're doing it, or the reason why they chose it. Just know that we're all here trying to make something for ourselves, whether it's pro wrestling, MMA, or if you're just a jiu-jitsu guy or Muay Thai boxer. We're all here trying to get to the same end goal, right? Support our family, create a future, you know, own things in life so we could have a life to live, you know.
George is here.
Yeah.
With jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Doing all that. He won the championship and all for that.
You never know. George was an FBI agent, and now he's over here living like another life, another whole life. You know.
He's here a lot training. Yes.
He enjoys it. It's something that it's on the back end of his life. You know, it's like who would ever known. You know, when you hit 40-something years old, you have like this beautiful present of another life to live, you know, whether it's jiu-jitsu or pro wrestling or whatever the case is, you know. So it's a beautiful thing, man. You could just appreciate that there's people here to actually keep this thing alive.
Oh my gosh. And with Dan, your father, Richie, go down the line, Mike Brown, all the coaches, Mike Mocco, just getting this thing, growing it, making it bigger and better. It's just
generations
amazing.
Going inside generation. Eventually you look back at it and it's going to be a beautiful story, you know. Hopefully there's some cool director out there that can make a movie about it.
Someone write a book and then they make a movie. That's exactly right. No. But the fun part is going to be Dan Lambert and his pro wrestling and doing all because I know what they do. That Dan's going to want to have the pro wrestling stuff in there too with AEW and all the things he's done.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, Josh. Well, listen, always a pleasure. Saturday, April 1st, PFL MMA 2023 regular season, first show. It'll be on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus at the theater at Virgin Hotels, Las Vegas. Josh, you gonna be playing any blackjack in Vegas after your big victory?
Yeah, I hope I'm hitting that 21, you know, or hopefully when I get to the blackjack table, hopefully I got a nice crew of people that were all playing against the dealer.
Yes. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, appreciate it.